machine. A touch of absurdity there. Nice. Is this some kind of joke?
Good things can still happen.
What's wrong with you? You mean someone stole your badge?
I'm not a real police officer. You are.
What the What are you doing?
If you could only find your gun.
Disco Elysium. The final cut.
Cześć, ja jestem Geeks, a to jest kolejny odcinek z gry Disco Elysium. W poprzednim odcinku rozpoczęliśmy sobie śledztwo w sprawie przemytu narkotyków. No i udało nam się dojść do tego, że za ten proceder jest odpowiedzialna jakaś kobieta kierowca. No i udało nam się znaleźć ciężarówkę, która do niej należy. Dopiero co się do niej włamałem, także zbadajmy ją.
This farm, A to Z, abandoned by its owner, still stands in the shadow of the ruins above it. The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. There's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been pulled tight over the lower side of the seat where the toolbox should be.
Dobra, od razu pójdę za tą percepcją. Odciągnij materiał z siedzenia pasażera.
Voila, a stack of neatly folded papers has been stashed behind the seating fabric. You see 3 maps depicting a large metropolitan area. It's Revachol. Some of its routes and highways have been outlined with a pen.
Okej.
Bonne prise.
Stwierdza porucznik, gdy przeglądasz znaleziony skarb noszący ślady częstego używania i złożony w równe kwadraty. No dobra, rozłóż mapę z wierzchu.
This large map displays the elevated motorway called 881. The intake leading to Martinaise is marked with a blue X. There's another X on the off-ramp at a place called the Old South.
Okej.
Toll booths at the intakes are marked with a circle. It looks like there are scant few ways of getting onto the elevated motorway that runs over Jamrock, and this person knows them all.
Imponujące.
There, hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar on the 881, high above the mass of brown and red roofs that is Jamrock. The commuters don't even look down. The world ceases to exist outside the windshield.
Dobra, dokąd prowadzi ta droga?
To Kuron, through the middle-income neighborhoods there, by the river, and then to Stella Maris and La Delta for work, while the men and women of Jamrock scuttle to their fates below the road.
No dobra, rozłóż drugą mapę.
This municipal map from the 30s displays a complex system of storm sewers underneath a sub-district called the Pox, old military hospital, right adjacent to the 41st precinct. Wind rips through the empty hallways of the once great military hospital, now just a ruin under an overgrown park. Beneath the hospital, great sewer tunnels hum and vibrate with life of their own.
Co to za odgłos?
The rattle of motor carriages and lorries driving through long-forgotten tunnels, lit by gaslights.
Dobra, spójrz na trzecią mapę.
The final map displays a labyrinth of service tunnels left over from the construction of Motorway 881. A few routes have been marked with a pen, where the tunnels and sewers surface near the eminent domain and a traffic island in central Jamrock by the lake. Despite the cold, figures move about cloaked in shadow, their breath escaping in white clouds that fade into the darkness. Wherever you look, the night gives cover to her messengers.
Dokąd oni zmierzają?
They travel from eminent domain to perdition and onto the main. over the River Esperance, on Route 881 to the Old South. The exit ramp is supposed to be shut down, but there's much activity.
Wow.
The road spreads like the tentacles of a great octopus.
Co to wszystko znaczy?
It means that the smugglers are secretly using the motorway to transport their goods and materials. They've infiltrated the East Motor Tract, most likely. The RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads, though apparently not all of them.
Gdzie trafia cała ta kontrabanda?
Hard to say. This distribution network looks certainly large, yet still vague enough. It doesn't reveal much about the besmerti behind it.
Bezsmärtni? To brzmi jakoś znajomo.
The besmerti is a Revacholian crime syndicate. They see themselves as the inheritors of the 14 Revacholian Indo-tribes, but really they're just violent gangs vying for control on the west side of Revachol. With cool names like La Puta Madre and Aura Masta. It's a dark parody.
No dobra. Jak myślisz, kto za tym stoi?
It's definitely not the Union. They just do some logistics. This operation has spread everywhere in Jamrock. If it's that widespread, then Madre remains the most likely suspect. Here's bad news. There have been attempts at a serious investigation before, but they haven't ended well for those involved.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi is a brave man for saying Madre's name without the winces and whispers that usually accompany it.
No okej. Czy to jest jakiś gang, którego wszyscy się powszechnie boją?
Especially bad news for cops who may have something in their past they don't even know is there.
Dobra, nie strasz mnie. Wsuń stos papierów z powrotem pod siedzenie.
Best not to disturb the scene. I'll have forensics go over the lorry and pick this up later.
The stack of maps looks just like before, barely noticeable. The movie stars look silently by, and the pull-out toolbox has a rubber handle, worn from years of use.
Dobrze. Przyjrzyj się radiu.
Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least.
No co komuś tyle stacji radiowych?
For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave, UW and UKV. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation. With quite a range too.
Możemy zrobić coś z tym radiem?
Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without a dial key.
No dobrze. Co tu jeszcze mamy?
The ghostly actresses and the rusty toolbox under the driver's seat and the oddly bulging seat cover.
Dobra, przyjrzyj się pedałom.
You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle.
Kawałek papieru ściernego przyklejony do pedału gazu. To ciekawe.
Sandpaper adds extra grip.
No okej. Zdaje się, że kierowca przykleił do pedału gazu kawałek papieru ściernego, żeby poprawić przyczepność.
Sandpaper? A novel technique?
Papier ścierny zdarłby też wzór z podeszwy prawego buta kierowcy.
Yes?
Porucznikowi podoba się, do czego to zmierzasz.
Do the honors, he thinks. Connect it yourself.
Jedna z par śladów na miejscu zbrodni była nieco dziwna. Miała jedną podeszwę gładszą.
Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching.
Dokładnie. Zaraz, brakujący 8 chłopak Hardiego? Tutaj?
Looks like her, yes.
I to także ona zajmowała się narkobiznesem. Niezła łobuziara.
Now we know for certain who's the missing eighth person at the lynching. Do you think that Hardy and his boys could also be involved in the drug operation?
To by pasowało do tego, co mówiła Joyce, ale nie chcę zakładać niczego z góry.
Understood. We should still go and see what Titus has got to say on the matter. Are we finished with the lorry?
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. The radio transmitter sits on the center console and a faint smell of perfume is in the air.
Dobrze. Wyciągnij wysuwaną skrzynkę narzędziową.
A metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty, except for a folded newspaper.
Rozłóż gazetę.
It's an issue of Peripherique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages.
Okej, podnieś notatkę.
It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the Ulan frequency system.
Dobrze.
These formulas look oddly painful. Maybe it's the hangover, but they give you a headache.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
Dobrze. Wsłoń wysuwaną skrzynkę narzędziową.
Pull out toolbox slides back into its nest. The rest is as it was.
Dobra, i zamknij
Post
drzwi.
close the rusty old lorry door.
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? Before we return to Joyce?
Jasne, że tak. A też jeszcze z tymi chłopakami Hardiego by się przydało pogadać. Co tam? Kim?
Alright, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep.
To chyba właśnie powinna zrobić policja. Co o tym sądzisz, Kim?
Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net. I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks.
Listening in on your calls between you and your station, a worrying prospect.
Zwłaszcza, że się nieźle zbłaźniłem podczas tych rozmów. No dobra.
Oh, and the maps we found. They reveal the geographical extent of the operation. Looks like they've used abandoned tunnels and access roads to stay hidden. This is useful info. And last but not least, it looks like the Hardy Boys knew this driver, as we know that she was present at the lynching. This may be the Union connection we've been searching for.
The probe and the case converged, he thinks. This was quite the find.
A więc ma to coś wspólnego ze Związkiem.
Like Joyce told us, yes, logistically. But don't expect to bust this open during our stay here. At best, this is an angle we can use against them, to other ends, as extra ammunition.
A plakaty filmowe, jak one się w to wpisują?
As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant to the drug trade.
Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
Elektrochemia. Wiele tu kobiet, zwłaszcza jak na kabinę użytkowaną przez kobietę.
Yes, well,
Unimportant.
Okej. Czy Mor rozpocznie w tej sprawie dochodzenie?
we should return to the murder case. See what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, sometime later when we are done here. We do not want to get caught in that. The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madrid grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome.
Korupcja?
All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either.
Ciekawe co jak powiem coś innego o tych plakatach filmowych.
Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
Wiadomo o co chodzi, tak? Ta kobieta prawdopodobnie jest lesbijką. Ale zapytam, może handlarka jest jakąś wielbicielką kina?
Yes, well,
Aha,
Unimportant.
no dobrze, dobrze. No dobrze, omówienie zakończone.
debrief over. After you.
No okej. Dobra, i mógłbym tego questa oddać, ale jeszcze chciałbym z chłopakami Hardiego pogadać. Ale zanim to zrobię, przejdę się jeszcze do naszego znajomego pana ze związku i oddam mu questa. Questa. Gdzie on był? Ach, to. Otwórz dla Evrarta drzwi do mieszkania. Otworzyłem te drzwi, aby gościa to zastraszyć. No i co? Muszę zwrócić tego kłeścika. Ciekawe, czy Maniana może coś powiedzieć na temat...
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
A, okej. Okazuje się, że ten szczur, to ten gość właśnie z tego mieszkania, co go odwiedziłem, ma nie lada kolekcję kolonialnych kubków.
Yeah, the janitor who gave me the key to his apartment said the guy's a bit of an asshole.
Tak, jego kolekcja kubków reprezentowała zdecydowanie przestarzałe wartości społeczne.
Like I said before, I don't know much about this weasel, but the bossman said he's a real piece of work. Thanks for helping out, friend.
Ten gościu jest po prostu rasistą. Okej, no to lecimy sobie w takim razie do Evrarta.
The already familiar cold touch of plastic welcomes you as you pick up.
O, zobaczcie.
The already familiar cold touch of plastic
To jest zegar
welcomes you as you
pracowniczy.
pick up the handset.
I można pozwolić swojej pamięci mięśniowej wybrać losowy numer. Teraz mam aż 42% szans, ponieważ słyszałem swoje imię i mam z tego powodu +2 do rzutu. O, w sumie zręczne palce to się całkiem przydają. Dodam sobie 1 punkcik. Zobaczymy, do czego mnie to zaprowadzi. Ach, przecież ja mam jeszcze rękawiczki, które mi dają zręczne palce +1. Kompletnie o tym zapomniałem. No i teraz można
The
próbować.
already familiar cold touch of plastic
72%.
welcomes you as you pick up. Your fingers run over the dial pad. 005. That's the dialing code for Revachol. 4952. And a moment of hesitation before entering the final numbers. 993.
Kurczę, ciekawe gdzie zadzwonię dzięki tej pamięci mięśniowej.
Calling. Calling.
Okej.
Still calling. Then
Video Revachol, 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lamy. How may I help you?
Wow. Dzwoniłem się do wypożyczalni wideo?
the voice of a youngster on the other end sounds as enthusiastic as that of a man walking towards the gallows.
Gdzie się dodzwoniłem?
Video Revachol is a 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lamy.
Kurde, zdarta płyta. Nie, mam na myśli, czym jest to miejsce dla mnie.
Sir, I don't know. It's a video rental. Maybe you rent videos here.
Zna mnie pan?
No.
Po co ja zadzwoniłem?
Maybe you called to extend your rental period? Do you need to extend your rental period?
Nazywam się Harry Dubois. Czy ma pan jakieś informacje przy moim nazwisku?
Let me fire up the machine. Dubois. Dubois.
Dubois. Jejku.
Here we are. You haven't rented anything in 5 years, but you still have a copy of Blue Ocean Hell from November 46. Whoa, not a fun film, that one.
A co to za film?
It's not an easy watch. After the death of his daughter and subsequent divorce, Zemsk immigrant Egidius Wojcik tries to come to terms with the onset of dementia.
Jezu.
No wonder no one's been missing it. Still, it would be great if you could return it to us. We're on the corner of Voyager and Maine.
Okej,
On the
dzięki.
corner of Voyager and Main, a large neon sign hangs on the side of a building. Video Revachol, 24 hours. It's raining and there is almost no traffic on the street. A woman's footprints in the mud lead away from the front door. Tiny heels tiptoeing down the road. Beautiful steps, light-footed with a lifetime ahead of them. You look up and the air seems to grow darker. The call is terminated by the other party. You're left with the discomforting sound of the disconnect tone.
To było ciekawe.
The payphone had
Zastanawiam się, czy to kiedykolwiek mi się przyda w tej grze. No taka ciekawostka po prostu, że Harry lubi czasem smutne filmy oglądać. Od co? No dobra, no to lecimy w takim razie do tego naszego Evrarta. No dobra, jestem na miejscu. Zobaczymy, co on na to.
Mr. Dubois, every worker for himself, right? What can I do for you today?
O, mogę też o ten związek z narkotykami zapytać. No ale dobra, najpierw tak. Otworzyłem drzwi, o których mówiłeś. Czy możemy teraz porozmawiać o morderstwie?
I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One
Nice.
question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
O kurde, oczywiście, że zajrzałem.
There is no way to sway this man in any direction. He is unsuggestible and unswayable. Just tell the truth.
Możliwe, że wszedłem do środka i znalazłem kolekcję rasistowskich kubków.
Just as I thought. Culturally antiquated mug collection. What a weasel. Pissing on Evrart's Rainbow Coalition. Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good.
Ta kolekcja kubków, co wspominałem, że była w mieszkaniu. Znalazłem podobny kubek w śmietniku razem z ubraniami wisielca.
Racist mugs in the trash and in the apartment? You guys are just light years ahead of me.
Jaki lizus.
I have so much confidence in the ability of your organization. I'm relieved you're doing this and leaving me to do what I do best. Helping people. With the power of politics.
Lepiej powiedz mi, gdzie jest moja broń.
Yes, yes. Do you think this weasel is somehow connected to the murder?
Oh, no. I don't cross paths like that. All I want is for you to succeed in your investigation. I would never complicate things for you.
Ale ten szczur mógł posprzątać po zabójcy.
Believe me, Harry, he's a nobody. Just your basement variety nobody. Can't imagine him being connected to a high-caliber case like this. But he does live nearby. Maybe it's a pedantic weasel. Fascists are known to be neat freaks. I feel like a real detective right now, Harry. Am I getting this right?
Udaje, że okłada coś niewidzialną pałką.
That's not how you baton someone. The technique is way off. You strike with your whole body, not just the baton.
Nie, trzeba wykorzystać swój ciężar, jeśli naprawdę chce się zrobić komuś krzywdę.
Oh, Harry, thanks for the tip. I'll leave doing the real damage to you. You are the real police officer after all, not me.
Dobra, nie pierdziel. Słyszałem o powiązaniach między linczem i strajkiem. Chciałbym usłyszeć, co o tym wiesz.
By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps.
Co? Dla Wild Pines? Słucham.
Harry, this strike is the culmination of many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
Co takiego?
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
I'm talking beasts. Hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry.
Kurwa.
Those Senorita Pineapple people are scary motherfuckers. Decimating your state if you don't give them your pineapples.
Okej.
Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
Zaraz, macie wioskowego słonia?
No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical and so is the village, but the mercs and their brutality are very real.
Dobra, mów dalej.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
Zaraz, przenoszą kontener?
Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it.
Wow. Przenoszą tego grubasa wraz z całym kontenerem? Dźwigiem? Wow.
But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
Okej. Czyli w sumie po części się zgadza to, co mówili chłopcy Hardiego, że gość usiłował kogoś zgwałcić.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill.
An entire neighborhood of killers.
Wow. Chwila. Cała okolica w tym siedzi?
Potentially, Harry, potentially. We got arm wrestling champions, rowing club people, ex-coal miners, tough guys, all ready to spring into action for their home base.
Dobra, kto dokładnie zajął się tym odbijaniem?
There's a militant wing inside the union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly.
Coś jakby ich policja?
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land."
Socjaldemokratyczny żart to im nakazał. Co za komuchę.
He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
No właśnie.
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinaise boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
If he's just boasting, then it sure doesn't feel like that to you. He's not worried.
Skąd wiesz, że najemników wynajęła firma transportowa?
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
Powiem wam, że ta intryga robi się coraz ciekawsza. Czyli wygląda to na takie porachunki między Związkiem Robotników, a tym całym White Pines, czyli taką korporacją, która trzęsie wszystkim. Ciekawe.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
He's not scared of them. If anything, he likes them being here. Strange.
Wspominałeś coś o prawniczce?
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal.
O. Dobra, opowiedz mi o Titusie Hardy i jego ekipie.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinaise and Revachol in mind.
Okay.
Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
Ciekawie przemawiasz, gość.
Separate one from the herd.
Dobrze, pozwól, że o coś spytam. Który z chłopaków Hardiego jest przez ciebie najmniej lubiany?
Oh, that would definitely be Fat Angus. His feet smell from a city block away, and he's always having noisy stomach troubles. Horrible, revolting guy.
Powiedzmy więc, że coś by się stało z grubym Angusem. Powiedzmy, że doszłoby do obywatelskiego zatrzymania.
You would die, Harry. You would die, and in the process start a bloody and completely unnecessary war between the Debarders Union and the Citizens Militia.
Kurde, odważne słowa.
Angus, his ever-growling stomach, and his smelly feet are all part of the Union. You have as much right to arrest him as I have to arrest your partner here. Actually, less, because this is my hometown, my territory, and my backyard. You are a guest here, Harry. Please remember that.
O kurde, była w tym groźba.
Oh, Harry. This is getting real grim and there's no need for that. We are friends.
Wpatruję się w ciebie z szerokim uśmiechem rozparty w fotelu. Evrart, spotkałem tych chłopaków Hardiego. Możesz ich poprosić, żeby ze mną współpracowali?
But of course! It's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
You can now go and tell Titus about this. See what he has to say.
Okej, dzięki, władczość.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
Czekaj, czemu mi to
I'm
dajesz?
not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real.
Needless to say, this is another move. Don't take it.
Dobrze. Nie potrzebuję tego. Chciałem tylko twojej pomocy z chłopakami Hardiego.
Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else?
Ciekawa rozmowa, na razie przerywamy.
Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinaise. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet.
Jeszcze?
Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
O, nie zamierzam się do was przyłączać.
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat.
No właśnie.
He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
To znowu jakiś pełen zepsucia spisek, co? Nie jestem ani po lewej, ani po prawej. Robię to, co dyktuje mi serce. Tak powiem.
What does your heart tell you about your lost gun, Harry? Does it tell you to forget about it? Or do you think it wants to be found? I think it's lonely and cold. I think it wants to be found, and I have a proposal for you.
Dobra. Do sedna.
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
Kim, co ty o tym sądzisz?
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
But he thinks it's your call.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, Well, I'm gonna hand you the keys to Martinaise, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
Dobra, po co te podpisy?
I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinaise. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates.
Mocne słowa jak na kogoś, kto przemyca narkotyki.
Roller skating, not drugs, Harry. You like this?
There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry.
Dobra, gdzie dokładnie jest to miejsce?
On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry.
Dobra,
Water
dobra.
drips from the eaves. A woman looks at her freshly tarred skiff. There's a pair of cavalry boots under the fish in the box, and the wind howls like a vicious spirit.
Dobra, co się stanie z obecnymi lokatorami?
They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre, designed by the best architects from Stella Marie.
Dobra, jeśli tam trafię, to mogę o nie poprosić. Przyjmij zadanie.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here,
Ciekawe, co jest w tej kopercie.
you need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I heard there was some trouble with the water lock, but it should be fixed now.
Ja ją naprawiłem, gościu.
Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then we can talk about your gun.
Dobra, zapiszę sobie, bo rozmowy z nim są zawsze dość wymagające, że tak powiem. Wbiję sobie jeszcze punkcik w może empatię czy władczość? Władczość mi się na pewno przyda. Albo nie, na razie zostawię. Zobaczymy, jakie rzuty się trafią.
Mr. Dubois,
Czekajcie, zapisałem? Zapisałem.
Mr. Dubois, every worker for himself, right? What can I do
Dobra.
for you today?
Powiedziano mi, że związek ma udział w lokalnym handlu narkotykami.
What? Harry, how could you say that to me? You know I appreciate a joke as much as any jolly fat guy, but I can't take slander. Are you actually investigating
Jolly
this?
fat guy. Tak. Albo bez Dobra, powiem tak.
You've hurt me, Harry. Me, a friend. But you know what?
And gets over it in 2 seconds. Seems like it didn't really hurt him.
No, bo wiadomo, że
I
udaje.
trust you, like I trust all my friends. And I know you'll never talk to me about this again, because you don't want to wound me. So do what you want, and let's change the subject.
Thank you for your understanding. We will continue to do what we must.
You too, Lieutenant. You know, I like you, but you never were my favorite. I'm a Harry guy. I'm Team Harry.
Tak, mówisz? Jesteś Team Harry?
I'm taken. Did we have anything else to do here, Harry?
Nie wiem, czy dalej z nim gadać o tym handlu narkotykami. Może to zniszczyć moje relacje z nim. Dobra, powiem jeszcze o Joyce. Poznałem Joyce, przedstawicielkę firmy.
Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very, very busy, you see. I hope you're getting along. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union versus corporation situation. Everyone is just pals here.
A na pewno. Po prostu kumplami?
We're all trying to do what's best for Martinaise. Don't feel like you can't cooperate with her because you and I are such good friends and I helped you get the body down. And I'm helping you find your gun. I'm not a jealous guy.
Whoa, that's so nice of him. Suspiciously nice.
Jesteś pewien? Wydaje mi się to trochę dziwne.
I'm just a nice guy, Harry. I wouldn't be where I am now if I wasn't nice. Politics is all about emotions, and I want you to have positive emotions when you think of me.
Okay then. Positive emotions it is. You like positive emotions.
Powiedziałem Joyce, że się poznaliśmy.
It's perfectly okay. Even if you've told her everything we've talked about, it's absolutely fine.
Co się stało z poprzednim negocjatorem, panem Gummontem?
What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go.
Poczynił ustępstwa na rzecz związku w poprzednich negocjacjach. Czemu kończyć współpracę z takim sojusznikiem?
He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left.
Nazwałeś go Karłem.
Harry, I have little people in my organization. I would never call someone a midget. What is this? Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a midget. No one is. We're pals.
A, jasne.
It's hard to say if he really lost his temper, or if this is another one of his tricks. This man almost never angers visibly.
No właśnie. Joyce mówiła, że poprzednia przewodnicząca związku zaginęła w tajemniczych okolicznościach.
Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven and couldn't make it here in time for the voting. Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait. When she got back, the whole thing was over.
Wait, there was no mention of a casserole from Joyce.
No właśnie. Zabawne. Joyce nic nie mówiła o zapiekance.
Harry, Harry, Harry. Do not fixate on this little matter. Maybe it was a rabbit stew, or a hairdryer, or an iron. The point is, her heart wasn't in it. Mine was.
If it's spilled blood you're looking for, then there certainly isn't any in his expression or demeanor now.
Evrart. Joyce zdaje się myśleć, że związek z nią pogrywa tymi nierealnymi żądaniami.
Yes, yes. Low balling, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at stake here. But everything's a casino for those rich types.
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible behavior.
Czemu nie pozwoliłeś jej się z tobą spotkać?
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator would. And I just don't have anything to discuss with a bad negotiator.
He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
Dobrze, porozmawiajmy o czymś
Of course,
innym.
Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. It's perfectly okay to share anything we discuss here with this Joyce. This is a completely transparent organization.
Ta, na pewno, jesteście umoczeni po uszy. Handel narkotykami, jakiś lincz, masakra.
I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business, and I respect your privacy. Just remember, none of this is secret. Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost gun. Tell her about everything. Evrart doesn't mind.
Co za cwaniak.
This is weird. Not nice weird, but okay.
No to naprawdę dziwne, ale Evrart nigdy nie mówi niczego wprost. No dobrze, na tym sobie zakończymy ten odcinek. Mam nadzieję, że wam się podobało. Jeżeli tak, wyraźcie swoje zadowolenie łapkami w górę. A jeżeli chcecie otrzymywać powiadomienia, no to zostawcie subskrypcję. Widzimy się w kolejnych odcinkach. Trzymajcie się. Wszystkiego dobrego. Cześć!